I would say that you're never going to be ready. So there's no better time than today. So whatever that dream, whatever that goal, whatever that passion, that desire, whatever it is that you want to achieve, don't keep putting it off. Actually figure out what that first step needs to be.
The Podcast Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Podcast Empire. Today we have an unstoppable guest joining us, an author who has unlocked the secrets to leaving an incredible legacy and overcoming adversity. So get ready to embark on a transformative journey as we delve into the wisdom and resilience of our unstoppable guest. Her name is Vicki O'Neill, and she is a video confidence coach and strategist to female introverts. Now, she is a master at what she does. She has 20 years plus in marketing and sales, and the last 5 years in video. So she is your go-to unstoppable powerhouse in the up-and-coming Unstoppable series number 4, the best-selling series produced by Elsa Morgan. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired to explore the power of perseverance and the legacy we can all create. Let's begin this unstoppable conversation. Welcome, Vicki.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here with you, Tracy.
This is a powerhouse edition. And if it's not for people like you in the world, Vicki, that is showing women, and you specialize with female introverts, on how to show up, how to get confidence on video, and how to let their true, authentic selves out, then this creates movements, communities, and it allows us to be free and authentic. So thank you very much for being an author in the Unstoppable book series. Now, my biggest question for you, Vicki, is what inspired you to write a chapter in Unstoppable 4?
That's a great question. So it's interesting as well because over the last few years, I've actually thought about writing a book. And I kept trying to think like what would be a word or two words that would actually sum up like the last few years of my life. And I just really couldn't find a word that would actually like caught my attention. And then when I was having a conversation with Elsa, she knew I was writing a chapter in a different book. And she's like, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you've got to write a chapter in this book. And I'm like, okay. And then she told me it was called Unstoppable. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. That is perfect. So it seemed like it lined up and it was like the perfect title for what I was looking for.
It is so great when the universe just drops it in our lap and just tells us this is what we need to do. Just keep
Yeah.
going. Here's your moment. Here's your
Yeah.
opportunity. And that
Yeah.
is why you're featured in the Powerhouse edition as well. Now, you've achieved so much, Vicki. Like, you only have to go check you out online, and we know you're a powerhouse. You are showing up intently and strategically and authentically, and
Mhm.
so many great achievements in your life. What are you most proud of?
Um, that's that's another great question. I'd have to say it's a two-parter. So on a personal note, I would say my greatest achievement in my life is being a mom. So it's the one thing like all day long, every day, ever since my daughters were born, I would say that would be my greatest achievement. They're two wonderful adults, great people. On a professional slash personal note, I would have to say that it's overcoming all of the things that I've encountered in my life over the last few years on a personal side that have actually helped drive me to do more and bigger things in my business. So that in itself, I'm just doing some of the mindset work, doing some work on myself and just staying focused on figuring out how I can make this work and do something different and unique than other people so that I can stand out. We know that being on video is one way to stand out, but then when you start seeing other people doing that, you're like, how can I stand out? So I'm starting to really figure that out. And I would say that the experiences I've had over the last few years, while they were not ideal, they've actually helped create clarity on what I should be doing and how I can stand out.
I love how you shared that kind of that strength and that little touch of vulnerability as well. It's okay, we're all on video, but how can I stand out against Jane Smith? How can I stand out against Susie Q? How can
Yeah.
I bring my own uniqueness, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it gets harder and harder, especially with AI and just so much noise on all the platforms and just in general. So video is one of the ways that you can actually stand out amongst all of the chaos.
And we say be unique, be yourself, but some people don't know what that is. They still don't
Yeah.
know what their uniqueness is or who they are. And I love how you touched on mindset and the strategies around that. What's one shift in mindset that you experienced or you've integrated into your business or even
Mhm.
into your personal development that you think kind of propelled that for you?
Yeah, so it's interesting that for the longest time, like when you're on video and you're a video coach, you're teaching people like the confidence side of it, you have to show up on video no matter what's going on in your life. I mean, you can take time off, which, I have, but you also have to just keep pushing forward. So it was a matter of the mindset piece. It came down to just doing a lot of internal work and really identifying what the issue is. So I can show up on camera and I can create videos. But if you go back and look at some of those videos, if I tell you the story and I say the time frames that it was happening, you can probably compare now. If you should see a video of me now versus back then, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see a difference. So the mindset work came into play of really identifying that I was the problem, but I was also the solution. And when I realized that, then it made it a lot easier to identify the other things that I needed to do inside in order to show up, not just put on an acting hat to create videos and show up for other people and act as if nothing was happening, but really show up as my authentic self, and that it was okay to share some things, with what was going on, as long as it wasn't, creating drama or, the wrong way to do that. So
Mm.
that helped a lot with just that part of the mindset work.
Absolutely. And we don't have to share everything. We don't have to give everyone the whole war and peace version of
Yeah.
our life. We can share what I call micro stories. We can share little
Yeah.
snippets and insights, and people who follow and watch. And I don't know whether you agree with this, Vicky, or not, they'll pick up on it, right? And it does build an engaged audience. And then you start receiving messages. Hey, are you okay? I see a change in your video. Do you and your clients experience that kind of thing as well?
I haven't had anybody reach out and say anything like they noticed that I was acting different or that it seemed like I was different. There were people who are just like, hey, I was looking forward to a video and I didn't post one that week. And it was because I just didn't have the energy. And you get to a certain point where if you're not doing the inner work, you're not doing the mindset work, it's going to catch up with you. So at some point, you're going to have to say, I got to deal with this. And it's not just keep pushing it under the rug and acting as if it didn't happen. It's like you need to work through it. So there were times when I would just push it aside and be like, I just can't do this. Like, I can't put on the acting hat and actually look happy. Like, it's a fake smile and you can tell it's a fake smile. So I'm just not going to, put out a video. And I would rather not put out a video in that case instead of trying to put it out and just like it not be the high quality or value that somebody wants, delivered for me what they expected.
And that's a great point as well. We have to be mindful and we do have to protect ourselves as well,
Mhm.
protect self love, self care. Now,
Yeah.
if you were to go back, Vicky, to your 20-year-old version, what advice would you give her seeing everything that you've been through?
Yeah. I would tell her that not to worry about getting a degree, to hire a life coach, a business coach, probably both, and to have an honest conversation with her, or both of them, and be true about what you're actually passionate about, like what you actually like to do, and then really be open to the possibility of that person sharing like what options that you could actually do. and then not get sidetracked or allow other people to influence your decisions. So don't just go along with other people because that's what they're doing. And then also don't pay attention if somebody's just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And then I don't do it because they said they weren't going to. So there's a level of creating a path and just staying true to like what you want once you figure that out and you work with a business coach or a life coach. And then just go full steam ahead. You know, don't
And
let other people deter you and just pay attention to the red flags and keep moving.
and this is why you're a powerhouse. This is why we sometimes just have to put our blinkers on and stay in our own lane. It's okay to kind of, have a sneak peek and see what's going on, but we're
Yeah.
running our own race, aren't we?
Oh, we definitely are. Yes.
Now, there are a lot of women out there, and you probably come across this in your conversations you have with women and especially introverts. I'm guessing, I'm assuming. What inspiration can you share with women who they really want to pursue their dreams, Vicky, but they really feel like they're not ready yet?
So if you want to run a marathon, but you've never ran a day in your life, then the first thing that you may want to do just as a super tiny step is just put on some running shoes that day. Maybe you don't even go run that day, but start taking action so that you can start building that confidence and, start getting that adrenaline going a little bit at a time. It's going to continue to encourage you to take that next step. And sometimes it's just building, a little at a time in order to make a bigger difference, but you have to do it, in whatever pace that you need to, but don't wait. Just take a step and just move forward.
Absolutely. There's a feeling around the failing forward, right? And I don't know whether they're two words that should really go together because it's very off-putting. And especially if you are an introvert, you're like, failing, oh my God, I've failed all my life. Or I don't want to show my
I
face.
don't
I
want
don't
to
want to go
fail.
out today.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to that party. But
But
I
sometimes
love.
that's the best way to do it, right? I mean, you have to, it's hard to say that though, but I think it's because it's not taught at an early age. So if we teach people when they're younger that failing's okay and actually teach them to fail, then it makes it a lot easier as you get older that that's really how we learn. We just don't put it in that framework because we're always appraised and applauded and rewarded based on the things that we're doing well.
I like that perspective. I really like that perspective. It reminds me of like school carnivals when everyone gets a badge because you
Yeah.
showed up, which is great. And I see the
Yeah.
concept, but we really should be teaching the failing is a lesson.
Hmm.
I really like that perspective. And if you're listening
Hmm.
today, I really hope that this helps you kind of change your perspective around just taking action and not seeing the whole staircase, just taking the first step, just putting your running shoes on, as Vicky
Yeah.
shared. And what kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today?
I would say that if you aren't sure what your next step should be, whatever it is that you want to do, and I know as an introvert, it can be a little more challenging than anything else, but we have access to the internet, we have access to information, research, find out what that first step needs to be, and just take it. That could be the energy that you need to outline the plan of whatever it is that you want to achieve, and it's really going to boil down to that first step, and you'll thank yourself and you'll thank your future self as well when you actually do it.
Absolutely. Some golden nuggets shared here today from the unstoppable powerhouse, Vicki O'Neill. Thank you so much for joining us in this unstoppable episode. And we hope you found our conversation with the inspiring Vicki O'Neill as captivating as what I did. I could literally talk all day with Vicki. She has so much knowledge and power. And if you're ready to embark on your own journey of resilience and leave a lasting legacy, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more empowering content like you heard here today. And while you're at it, we greatly appreciate it if you'd leave a comment for Vicki with your biggest takeaway from today's episode, and I'm sure Vicki will respond to you. And to dive even deeper into the world of the Unstoppable book series number 4, check out the show notes below and click the link to get your copy and read Vicki's chapter and immerse yourself in the other stories that will ignite your determination and push you beyond your limits, even the introverts. So connect with our unstoppable guest on social media. Vicki's links are shared in the show notes, and stay updated on Vicki's latest insights and projects. And remember, it's never too late to start creating your own unstoppable legacy. So thank you very much. We will see you on the next Unstoppable episode and see you in the pod. Thanks, Vicki.
Thanks, Tracy.
The Podcast's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.